Every perspective of the farm is, it's all about management and appropriate use of the tools that we have to raise the best crop we can with the least impacts and the least resources necessary to do it. So I'm Patrick O'Leary. I come from a fourth generation family farm in west central Minnesota. We raise corn and soybeans and custom raise hogs. We're spread out over about 20-mile radius. We farm about 5,200 acres of cropland. Between corn and soybeans, we're about 2/3 corn, about 1/3 soybeans, or somewhere in there, 60-40, somewhere in that range. Looking back at a year ago, corn crop was quite good. We took some opportunities to market some early grain. Of course, today we wish we'd have waited a little bit, but we're also getting a little bit of grain marketed at the higher prices. So last year's crop looks pretty good on the corn side. From a soybean perspective, an average crop, we had quite a variation in weather towards the end of the season that seemed to have more impact on some of our later varieties of soybeans than we anticipated. The early soybeans were very good, the later ones more average. Those are all marketed right out of the field, so a little different scenario in the marketing for us. We got some fair prices for the crop, but didn't have an opportunity to take much advantage of the increase now. Overall, last year's crop and marketing went well and was productive for us, so it was a good year. 2021 actually proved to be kind of a challenge as it started for us. The input prices started to go on the rise. We were quite fortunate that we had pre-priced a lot of the things we needed for the 2021 season, so we took some advantages of some lower prices. Today, on an input side, there's a lot of challenges in not only getting products, but what they cost if we can get them. As far as the planting, it also presented some pretty interesting challenges. As we tried to get started in April, our typical start date would be the second to third week of April. We got a very small window that we got a few acres put in. It was cold. Then we got some rain. The temperatures fell off significantly, got some rain, and had a little bit of a delay there. When we got back in, still had the cold temperatures. The rain stopped. As we moved through the season of planting, we didn't get any rain. So we had gotten a little bit of rain and then didn't get any. As we finished up the corn planting, we're planting corn deeper than we normally would to try to get it down to moisture. And when we started in on the soybeans, again, planted beans deeper than traditionally, making sure they were in moisture. So it took them just a little bit longer to come out of the ground, but they came out of the ground pretty well for us. Today we're sitting quite dry. We've had the whole month of May. We've had about a little over an inch of rain, nothing so far in June. As we dug around in soils, it depends on the soil types, but some of them are in need of moisture right now. The crop seems to be doing quite well. You know, we're probably at about the third trifoliate, and the soybeans are opening the third trifoliate. They seem to be handling the lack of moisture fairly well. We are marketing some grain. We're profitable, or should be profitable, in the scenarios we're in. I think that the challenges that are presented today are the lack of moisture and not any significant moisture in the forecast in the next 10 days. We're starting to look at the crop and the production and try to make decisions on how much we can market based on the current scenario. On the corn side, it's in a significant growth stage right now. So we've done our post-emerge spraying on the corn. We've had the opportunity now to get the nitrogen side dressed so it has its nutrients are out there for it. So now we're probably in a stage with the corn that it's more management, watching to see what happens if we have to go out and possibly do a little bit more herbicide or fungicide applications. But the corn, we're probably to the point that it's more of a monitoring scenario. The soybeans, quite a bit of operational management things going on them still. We're looking now in the next days here, as the weather conditions fit, we probably look at getting our first passive post-emerge chemical on them for weed control. To follow that, probably starting to look at what our scenario looks like for fungicides and other disease pressures that we may have, and possibly looking at spraying some fungicides on the soybeans. And then As we move into later July and August, it's monitoring insect pressures and things on the soybeans. So the soybeans probably a little bit more labor intensive for the next month and a half than the corn. Both of them need to be watched quite closely. Prices are really good right now, but as a farmer, you don't wait and hope for the high price. You market when you're profitable or when you believe to be profitable. So I don't think a lot of farmers, as far as a 2020 crop or a year ago in their marketing strategies, ever could have anticipated that we were going to see $6 or $7 cash corn. And more likely, when it got to at profitable points, they marketed a lot of their grain. So the marketing strategy in 2022, 2021, 2022 are more important. Knowing how far we can market is the next challenge.